Hey everyone, welcome back. I'm Keegs, and this is part 3 in my YouTube series talking about my 3 all-time favorite anime series. Now, if you haven't seen the previous video talking about Code Geass, you can click somewhere up here, but for this video, we're going to be talking about Fullmetal Alchemist. Fullmetal Alchemist. Specifically, Brotherhood. Now, FMA is an anime about two brothers that do some forbidden alchemy and pay a really high price for it. They end up going on a journey and taking on a plot by the 7 deadly sins to take over the world. In this world, you can become a state alchemist by proving to the state that your alchemy benefits their society in some real way and gives real contributions. What I love about this show is that there's a lot of humor in it that's masking an overall dark, sinister plot. You still have your classic anime fights, which are awesome, and your over-the-top heroes, but there's actually dire consequences in here, and they're real consequences. There's not really a lot of bringing people back from the dead, so you really have to watch yourself in this anime. People die in this show, and once you're dead, you stay dead. That was an overarching theme in this series, and they hammered that home pretty well. But overall, it was really focused, and there was hardly any filler in it. And I mean, honestly, I just love this show, and let's get straight into spoilers, because I really want to talk about some of the best moments in this show. My favorite character in this show, hands down, was Mustang. I love this guy. He was awesome and badass in every scene that he was in. I mean, he was beaten down at one point, and then he comes back, carves a symbol into his hand just to take out Lust, which was awesome. I mean, I can't describe how cool it was to see him come back. And he's relentless, man. He will just keep snapping his fingers until they're nothing. I mean, same happened when he went after Envy. And it was kind of funny. Envy ended up being like a little slug, but not after he was burnt 1,000 times by Mustang. He deeply cares for all his friends, which everybody knows from the scene at the funeral, Hughes's funeral, where he's crying, and it's very touching and it's really sad to see. And there's a lot of mystery throughout this show, which I loved, and they did it so well, especially centered around Hohenheim. Now, everything that was revealed about him was surprising, and I just thought it was really interesting. I was a little sad to see him die at the end and just kind of like fade away, essentially, but I'm sure that's probably what he's wanted. He's been around for a while now, it seems. Greed was also my favorite sin. I think he's probably a lot of people's, because he was the only sin that could really freely think for himself, and he made his own choices a lot of the time. He could go against his father, and I think it did help. At one point, he fused with Ling Yao, and I think that helped him be a little less greedy too, but it showed that the sins could change overall, and they didn't have to be stuck in their ways. So it was sad to see that none of the other sins really caught on to that and figured out that they didn't have to do or be exactly what they were made to do or be. And I'm only going to talk about it real quick and a little quieter, but the scene with the alchemist and his daughter and dog, you know the one I'm talking about, that was really messed up. If I think about it too hard, it creeps me out even to this day. In fact, it is the only reason I have not shown my wife this anime, is because I think if I show her this, that scene will turn her off from the anime completely. And like, it's at like the beginning of the series. It does really speak to how dark this show got sometimes. I mean, if you think about it, the way all the sins were immortal was that they killed a bunch of people, and those were like trapped souls inside of them. So yeah, this show gets dark. Anyways, I think it was really cool how all the alchemists needed to have their symbol with them to do their alchemy, except for Edward, who could just do it naturally, so to speak. And I think that made him stand out as a protagonist. And like, how do you stand out as a protagonist when everybody else around you is also doing magic? So I thought that was a fun and clever way to make him feel different. You could constantly see Edward's guilt over what happened to his brother Alphonse and being trapped in that metal suit for the armor. And you could see the cracks in Edward, and it really made him seem relatable as a character. And I thought they did a really good job of showing his wide range of emotions. I'm ashamed to say that I was caught a little off guard when Wrath revealed himself, although I really don't know why I should be, because his name was, or his title was Führer, if that didn't give it away at all. But he was a great fighter, and he made him some of the most fun fight scenes to watch. I really loved the end of the show too. I thought it ended perfectly. I was sad to see Edward lose his alchemy, but it makes sense because he felt tremendous guilt over what had happened, and he would do anything to save his brother. And I think as soon as he realized what he had to do to save his brother, there was no hesitation, and he just did it. And they did leave it a little open-ended at the end, where the two brothers could go on more journeys if they want, and I would love to see those, but I also don't want to ruin this anime, or I don't want anything to be put out that's not as good as this complete series. Overall, it was just an amazing series, and I mean, it had emotion, great fights, mystery, interesting characters, and I just really loved it, and that's really what ended up putting it on my top 3 list. But before I go, I do want to make some honorable mentions to other anime that I do love, but didn't quite make the cut for my top 3 anime. So here we go. Steins Gate, Fairy Tail, Attack on Titan, Castlevania, Baccano, Sword Art Online, and 7 Deadly Sins. I love you all too, so don't get too down on yourself. You're still great animes. I hope you've enjoyed listening to my top 3 favorite anime series, and I would love to know, what do you guys think about Fullmetal Alchemist, and what are your top 3 anime series? Maybe I haven't seen them and I can give them a shot, so let me know down in the comments. But I'm Keegs. Have a great day.